Ladies, what if I told you that there is a sensory organ that is very similar to your fingertips and your lips? It's the nipples. Now, I probably got your attention by saying that, but I want you to understand there's a lot of science that backs up what I'm going to talk about today. Now, I've done other videos on breast milk and its contents, and we can talk about that really quick because the nice thing about breastfeeding, there are so many benefits to it. Compounds that breast milk has in, the macronutrients, and remember, once again, there's proteins, there's fats, there's carbohydrates, there's immune factors that exist in breast milk. You know, you have hemoglobins, you have cytokines, you have actually different lysozymes, and yet everything else in there. You have hormonal factors that are in there, and this all helps supply the baby with needs. And once again, there's so many things that exist in breast milk that we just don't appreciate it. But what got me fascinated with the female body and how it works is actually the communication that happens to know what the body needs. Now, what do I mean? If you look at a baby, they grow. That means their nutritional demands change. Now, why is that important? Because as they change, how does the female body understand what to produce? Well, that's where the nipples come in place. It's a very important sensory organ. Now, why is it so sensitive? Because the nerve density in the nipple is extremely high. They're packed with sensory nerves. They're also packed like your fingers and your lips, and they're directly wired. They're directly wired to the somatosensory cortex. That's amazing right there. There's a direct connection. Now, why is that important? When you look at the sensation that's going there, all of a sudden the nipple, once again, there is saliva feedback loop that happens. Now, what do I mean? When the baby actually nurses, their saliva enters the tiny ducts, okay, that are in the nipples, all right? And what it does, this sends the chemical signal, once again, about the baby's needs. Think about that. I want you to think how cool that is. The saliva of the baby now enters the nipple. Then there is a feedback loop of everything that's going on, so it tells the mother what to make. And see, the baby could have inflammatory markers. It could actually have microbial, it could be dehydration. And the breast milk is then altered for the composition that it needs at that time in real time. In real time. That's pretty fascinating if you think about it this way. Now, we talked about there's a neuroendocrine response that does happen when the saliva touches the nipple. I mean, the fascinating part about that is the baby can actually signal to the mother what it needs. So what they found out was the stimulation triggers, once again, oxytocin and also prolactin release, now controlling the milk letdown and also the bonding. See, that's why it's really important that when the mother has the baby, attach them as quickly as possible because there is going to be that oxytocin production. That's why it's shown that women do breastfeed have a better connection with them. And the last part is just adaptive sensing of everything that exists, okay? Studies show that the nipple can really measure suction strength. That's cool. It can measure the suction strength and the temperature, ensuring the flow actually goes quite well. So I always tell people, I said, knowing that about the nipple, it should fascinate you that all these things happen in order for the body to do what? To actually make what the baby needs. So I want people to understand when it comes to the nipples is they actually have a major role on not only the baby's health over the course of its from start till when breastfeeding is done, but it changes. That's fascinating. That really is. And it comes from the saliva, and the baby now dictates to the mother what it needs. Everything from macronutrients, micronutrients, microbials, hydration, everything. And then that connection creates a feedback loop, and then the baby gets exactly what it needs. That made me so fascinated about the endocrine system, the neurological system, and just breastfeeding in general. So I hope you enjoyed my fascination with the nipples and everything it brings.